Good morning, student. Today, in chapter number 6, we will cover three topics. First one is language and communication. Second is the Sufis and the state. And then we will discuss about the Sufi Sant Kabir. Language and communication. Chishtis composed their poems in several languages. The Chishtis use Hindavi and Persian languages for their poems. Sufis such as Baba Farid compose poetry in the local language even also. That's why the people were the followers or they were also understand the local language in a proper way. Some Sufis composed long poems that or the manasvis to express ideas of divine love using human love as an allegory. Allegory means human existence. Sufi poetry was composed in the Dakkani language around the Bijapur and the Karnataka region. So in the Bijapur and the Karnataka they use the Dakkani language. While performing household chores like the grinding grain and they sang these poems. They were doing their household work and they singing in their own language or in the Dakkani language of these poems. Other poems were in the form of the Lurinama or the wedding song. That one is called Shadi Nama. The Sufis of this region were inspired by the Kannada Vachanas of the Lingyats and the Marathi Abhyans of the saint of the Pandharpur. Now the Sufis and the states. Chishti tradition was austere. Austere means a manner. Chishti tradition was like as a manner, but it did not isolate the political power. The Sufis accepted unsolicited grants and donation from the political elite class, like as the kings. Kings they were donate the land and the money and the gifts to these Sufi saints, and they were also accepted all these things. The Sultan set up charitable trusts as endowments for the hospices and granted uh, tax-free land that was known as the inam to these Sufis people. Chishtis accepted donation in cash and kind and used for their immediate requirements such as the food, clothes, living quarters and rituals necessities such as the sama. For all these things, they were used this money. The moral high status of the Sufis attracted people from all walks of life because they were lived in a very good hospices. So people from the different religion, creed, caste, people they were attract from to these Sufis. The king wished to secure their sport. The kings also want the support of the Sufis. Kings simply did not need to show their association with Sufis and also required legitimating for them. When the Turks set up in Delhi, this Delhi Sultanate, Sufi resisted the instances of the ulema on imposing Sharia as state law because they anticipated opposition from their subjects because on that time the people they were opposed this Sharia, so they were taking the help from these Sufis. The sultans also came to depend on Sufis to interpret the Sharia. It was believed that Aulia, Nizamuddin Aulia, could intercede with God to improve the material and spiritual condition of the people. As a result, kings got the shrines of the Sufis near built near their tombs. It means that the kings, they were also wished that their shrines were also built near the shrines of these Sufis. There were instances of conflict between the Sultan and Sufis. In some places, we also saw the conflict between the Sultan and the Sufis to assert their authority. Both the Sultan and the Sufis, they shows their authority. Both expected certain rituals performed like kissing of the feet or bow the head, like this way. Now the new devotional path, dialects and descent in the North India. During the 14th and 15th centuries, Kabir was one of the most outstanding example of a poet saint. Verses ascribed to Kabir have been compiled in three distinct traditions. Now the sources to reconstruct the life of Kabir. Here you see from how can we know about the Kabir. First here you see the Kabir Bijak. Kabir Bijak is preserved by the Kabir Panth, the path or sect of Kabir in the Varanasi and in the Uttar Pradesh. So through the Varanasi and Uttar Pradesh, we also through with the help of this Kabir Bijak, we getting the knowledge of the Kabir. Then Kabir Granthavali is also associated with the Dadu Panth in Rajasthan, and many of his compositions are found in the Adi Granth Sahib. All these compilation this were made after the death of the Kabir. Kabir's poems have survived in several languages and dialects, and sometimes with special language of Nirgun poet. Thus, we already discussed in this chapter in the starting Sagun and the Nirgun. So then, and others known as the Ulta Bhans. So Kabir was the Nirgun poet. He was the Nirgun poet. Now the teachings of Kabir. Kabir tried to describe the ultimate reality, including the Islam. According to him, the ultimate reality was Allah, Khuda, Hazrat or Pir. He also used certain Vedic terms such as the Brahman and Atma. So he used these words which when used in the in our Veds, in the Hindu religion, in the Vedas, and in the Islam religion even also. He also used some yogic traditions terms such as the Shabd, sound or Shunni. Some poems of Kabir express conflicting and diverse ideas. Some poems attacked Hindu polytheism because, as you know, that Hindus worship their different god and goddesses. So he attacked on this polytheism. Then the idol worship and others use Sufi concept of the zikr and the ishq or love to express the Hindu practice of the Nam Simran. He emphasized the people that you have to use the Nam Simran, that the remembrance of the God's names. Historians have tried to analyze the language, style, and content of these poems. Debates about whether Kabir was a Hindu or the Muslim by birth are well reflected in the hagiographies. So, this was not clear that Kabir was a Hindu or a Muslim. Hagiographies within the Vaishnava tradition suggest that he was born a Hindu. Kabir Das but brought up by a poor Muslim community of weavers. They also suggested that he was initiated into bhakti by a Guru Ramananda. It means that his guru was the Ramananda. But again, here are some problems. The poems of Kabir use word Guru and Satguru, but do not mention the name of any specific Guru. So we are not, this one is not clear that Ramananda was the Guru of the Kabir. Historian again pointed out that it is very difficult to establish that Ramananda and Kabir were the contemporaries because the difference in between the age of the Ramananda and Kabir was very a lot. So this was not clear that Ramananda was the guru of Kabir. Okay, student, thank you. In next video, we will complete our this chapter.